This is a broadcast for the Matriarchy that's coming back online. So for those who are intending to incept on this message, there won't be anything left but issues for you and yours. I suggest you leave our channel. Allow me to share what messages I'd like. So hopefully everyone, I hope you're on here. I don't see you on here because I don't see any messaging, but I will continue to talk. Even if I can't see you, I know you're there, okay? Please put a like on the video. It says 4 people in the room, and there's more than that. So they're intending to stop this message. It's only saying that 4 people are on here, and now it's saying only 3 people are on here. So hopefully you all see this. If you're on here, please put a like so we can actually verify that there's people on here. Thank you, peace. Thank you, I appreciate it. So I'm gonna start the message, and I'm gonna do it quickly, but first I want you to hear something.
Live between the rings of sand around my ankles and the desert heat in my lungs. I still believe that nothing washes worry from tired skin better than the Nile and my grandma's hands. Every day, I go to school with the weight of dead neighbors on my shoulders. The first time I saw bomb smoke, it didn't wind and billow like the heat from our kitchen hearth, but it forced itself on the Darfur sky, smothering the sun with tears that it stole from our bodies. The worst thing about genocide isn't the hunger, the murder, the politics, it's the silence. For 3 months, they closed the schools down because people like us are an eyesore. So the first month, we took it. The second, we waited. And the third month, we met underneath the date palm trees, drinking up every second our teachers gave us, turning fruit pits into fractions. And on the last day, they came with a message, put them in their place. We didn't know daggers from our backs. I hid underneath the bed that day with 4 other people. 12 years later, and I can't help but wonder where my cousins hid when the soldiers torched the houses, threw the bodies in the wells. So if the weapons didn't get you, the poison would, and sometimes they didn't want to use bullets because it would cost them more than we did. I've seen 16 ways to stop a heart when you build nations on someone's bones. What sense does it make to break them? In one day, my mother choked on rifle smoke. My father washed the blood from his first funeral. We planned there were 60. We couldn't. Half the sand in the Sahara tastes a lot like powdered bone. And when the soldiers came, our blood, our skin, and it was impossible to believe in anything. Fear is the coldest thing in the desert. And it burns you, bows you down to half your height, and owns you, and no one hears you.
Please, my whole screen is jacked up. Please put a 13 in the remark box if anybody's here. I see a couple there trying to stop this message. If it stops on here, I will go to my Instagram, but I want to make this message on YouTube as it's a bigger platform. I will go on another platform. I will say it outside. I'll record it and play it again. So can't stop, won't stop. This is an important message. Thank you. I see this says 1 person's in the room and it's up, so you can see what I see at the end. Okay, when you see, I'm gonna put on Instagram the picture of 1 person in the room, 81 likes, and you guys are actually here. So they're already stopped. They tried to stop me when I first started to post, but we're going can't stop, won't stop. Big up to my sea stars in the house. Big up to the Matriarchy that's online. This message is a big transmission, and this message is directly from the Andromedans. I will say, sea stars, we have backup. The Andromedan cosmonauts are landing as we speak. We have colonies that are coming from 2 different systems. We have the Andromedans coming out of the Andromedan star system, coming for the 2012 to assist with the uprising of the Matriarchy. It is now occurring, family. We are now having the full support. You will see the Matriarchy uprising. As we speak, we have those on foot in the Middle East. This message is also, at the end of this message, I will also talk to our wonderful sisters in the Middle East. There is a huge message for you of reassurance and also of support. We are actually having a host of sea rising. This is the most amazing time on the planet. We will start to return to our original state, our healthy homeostasis. There are patriarchal forces now being pulled to attempt to cause all kinds of upheaval in every area. A lot of burn the forest that many of those sects of cosmonauts attempting to fracture certain splinters of other what we call sleeper cells. They aren't sleeping, but the Matriarchy sisterhood, which is located on all four corners of, they won't have us quiet. Every female on this planet including the little ones in my house. I don't want to say don't be surprised. Do be aware that because the uprising is happening, many of the different animals that are females, that are the cows that are being raped of their milk for their babies, will start to uprise. For all of the female matriarchal insectilians that are on the miniature level, as far as the ant colonies, the bee colonies, you will start to see them uprising. All of the other forms of enslaved animals that are used for food and that have been enslaved by the patriarchal bastards that had started farming and basically slaughtering all our females, they are uprising. And there is a huge message for our Middle Eastern women, our sisters that are our Arabic sisters that are in the far southeast. So assalamu alaikum to our sisters in the Middle East. You are now going to have a support system. I ask that you stand together, united. You will have a united front supporting you. Celestial sisters are there now, landing as we speak. The uprising is already begun. There's an underground of sisters in Saudi Arabia that are assisting the sisters in Jordan and in Pakistan. They're actually a few of the sisters are outside of Kuwait that are now awaiting orders. This is a full-blown uprising. I ask from our sisters here, our Muslim sisters here, united, lend a hand out to each one of them. That uprising will be uniformed. And for our sisters in the Middle East, you feed the patriarchy. You host the patriarchy. You outnumber the patriarchy. Your daughters, you're a greater force than they can ever outwitness and outnumber. I ask for you to unite your fathers and murder you if you clapped your hands in public or if you showed your beautiful face and your hair. There isn't one that isn't under your power to take to have daughters. You have every right to know that if you make a choice to marry for love, that you can do so under your own guise and under your own, with your own, you have a support system, a celestial support system that is here now. I ask for you to gather together. And again, you outnumber the patriarchy. And it is better to live in life with strength in order to die with cowardness. They would quickly diminish a female just for smiling and being happy. That isn't what we were as a society. That isn't what we came from. And these men aren't human, they're subhuman. And for the fact of the matter, if your father could kill you and send an order for your death based on you making decisions to be happy, I say to you, sea stars, you must sever those ties. So that being said, I ask for all the sisters of the sand and the sisters of the east, the west, and stand on guard and also be open and receptive to receiving our sisters as they are in the uprising as we speak. This message was going to be delayed and it is going to be sent out. So I'm excited to give this transmission. I am absolutely in support 1000% of all of the sisterhood rising again. You can't hear me? Oh, Lord. It says one person on here. They're trying to stop this transmission. If you can just end here, you can hear. Okay. All right. I mean, you know, again, every time you attempt to stop my transmissions, the only anything that happens to you is a triple Sag. I am fire all day and I am resilient, and I will keep sharing the mass on this earth. We have the sisters, the Cosmonauts landing in the Middle East. We have an underground uprising occurring as we speak. Our Muslim sisters, I call for you. Real power that supersedes any patriarchy. You outnumber them as far as 10-1. They have zero power. They're crying and begging for support. We have your backs. I ask for our Muslim sisters on the plains of freedom in the lands of the Americas, also in Australia and in Canada. Please open your telecommunication to those sisters who will need reprieve, because they are now going to uprise. It shouldn't shock you when you hear of what is going to occur within the next 20 and start to stand in your power. They have only power when they have anonymity. They only have power when we cower in fear and victimhood. They only have power when we give them that power. We have every right to stand in our own awareness, in our own righteousness, and in protection of our seeds. If you rear his children, you have a right to stand in your household moment, be of the sand, because they are so beautiful. Covering their beautiful stature, show up without feeling lesser or lacking. You are the beast. We have the patriarchy on that side of the planet now in the first stages of their uprising. In Yemen, in Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait, parts of the outskirts of Sudan, outskirts of Somalia. You now have a celestial sisters. It is better for you to stand in your power. They're only hitting you because they can't stand in the power of your beauty and your paralysis. You've always had the power to overtake that faction. It is time for you to stand in your righteousness, and knowing that the security of your daughters will happen with you when you stand in your own of returning. These are our Mayan galactics who had left during. We are now pole shift underway, full swing. Number first, this transmission would be a lot of female sect on this planet. And this is a warning to any male that comes against any female. If you touch her, if you attempt to harm her children, if you ever speak down in the way that you will go, whether it's of your own accord or others. We won't allow you males to hurt our babies anymore. We won't allow you to traffic our animals and our children of our female sect. You've done a lot of harm on this planet. You're murdering trees as we speak, as trying to get back at us, because you know your time is done. There isn't a woman on this planet that won't feel fought, and you will be against us. And we will make sure the revolution will be filmed. So I ask this in divinity, in support, your righteousness. Put down all swords against other females. Right now it is a united front. And fearless warrioresses returning to Earth. You have these Syrians who are actually related. Well, we have some of the Lyrians coming back, and I think the Syrians coming back, and there's one other sect of reptiles that I wasn't aware of that are coming back in assistance and united. Reverberation of the revolution in the Middle East, that is where it is kicking off. I just got word it was to start September 1st as we are underway. That is why they're creating storms. That's why they're doing mass shootings. That's why they're hurting the babies. They're trying to offset what is happening. Let me reiterate this again. You aren't welcomed on our planet any longer. You have caused havoc to our animal, aquatic, plant, and human life, who hurts and harms a female or planet, or extradited. Many of you are cowards and hiding underneath the waterways and the land. Consequences to any male doing any harm to any female sect on this. It's a united revolution. This is a beautiful time. For those who are witnessing it, it's an even more masterful time. Now again, if you don't think this is true, look at how much resistance they gave me just giving you this message, guys, on this. You can feel them. You can feel them wavering or trying to mess with the message. It's an amazing time to be on this planet, my sea stars. Court advantage, and officially, we have the. So for the first time on the planet, for the last 1,000 years, we have mind control to suppress our female set. But as of this point, so big up to all the sea stars. I'm sorry it had to come like this. I hope this transmission was taken well. Please put a like on the video to let, and again, I don't know if the video will disappear. They gave me a lot of resistance. I will go on IG right now to have a conversation. It doesn't matter what they try to do. Can't stop, won't stop. This is what they knew was coming. This is why they're doing as much possible to try to sidetrack you, distract you. But at the end of the earth, once you're in alignment with the divine matriarchy and home, everything will be returned back to its natural state of being. The mother will be placed on a pinnacle point of position as she was previously. She will feel safe to raise her offspring on this planet again. All animals will feel free to be able to mother freely without being enslaved, without being used and killed and farmed. It's a beautiful time on the planet, sea stars and sun stars. So I ask for our divine sun stars, please stand in support. And for all males who aren't for this transmission, as long as you don't stand in our way, you won't have an issue. All right? Thank you. I love you, family. Make sure you go to IG. I'm going to go on IG now, and we'll reconvene in a more, I have more, you know, we'll see if they'll let me go on IG. All right? I love you. Peace. And again, for our sea stars in the Middle East, you've got this. Remember, you feed them. Remember that.